All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SpyParty Major League Grandmaster Championship Singular Semifinal between Rob and OpiWrites. So today, these two players are going to be playing for the opportunity to play Nebula in the Grandmaster Finals. So I think probably most players are quite familiar with these two very strong SpyParty players, but for those who might be a little newer to the scene, let's go ahead and get into the player cards. And so today I am joined by Nebula on the casting, or sorry, Nebula hosting, and on the casting I have Martini.
Hello, hello. This
Yep.
is gonna be a really fun match, I think. OpiWrites and Rov finishing third and second, respectively, and you can, just see from the card, Rov, no stranger to high stakes matches, winner of Winter Cup 2022, as well as the runner-up of the most recent Winter Cup. He won the SCL last year, and his sniper win rate, the highest in Grandmaster. One of the best snipers the game has ever seen.
Yeah, definitely quite the impressive trophy case for Rav. Just had been an absolute monster for the last year or two. Um, and yeah, let's look a little more closely at this season. So Rav, just had that one loss to OP, like a very close loss, and just been undefeated outside of that. A couple of close draws, but very strong season, and yeah, very heavily leaning on that sniper skill. Um, yeah, spy play maybe a little bit lower, but I think that's kind of standard for Grandmaster these days is to pretty much win the spy rounds and I'm sorry, win the sniper rounds and kind of hope for the occasional spy win. And looking at the venues, so ballroom, I think that's going to be one similarity between Rob and OP. Aquarium, that's definitely not going to be a similarity. OP is known to not really like aquarium, while Rob does quite well on it. And veranda, kind of an interesting choice. Not too commonly seen at the higher levels, but yeah, I think probably favors Rob's style. And then going into the disliked balcony, yeah, Rob clearly does not like balcony, and that could play into things as OP has, I think, doubled balcony on a couple occasions, but I would expect Rob to use his ban in this case.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Rob does lean heavily on his sniper, so he likes the venues where the sniper has, if a perfect sniper could always win on. Um, the difference on Aquarium between him and OP Wrights is that I think Rob likes making plays on Aquarium using the shark. I know he likes to do statue, or he likes to do shark walks, he likes to do some purloin cheese. Um, But balcony is one of those venues where you can play perfectly as sniper and still lose either to like a three green or a civilian that could be doing a three green. So he likes to take that out of the pool pretty early.
Yep. And with that, let's go ahead and take a look at OP's player card. Yeah, so interestingly enough, these stats are quite similar. I think Rav a little bit higher on the sniper side, but spy side is a little closer than I thought it would be. OP, pretty good spy, and I think they actually have quite different spy styles. Whereas Rav might play a few passive games and mix in like a fast game as kind of the throwing a fastball at the opponent. Whereas OP more so the opposite. You can kind of expect mission completions, usually quick mission completions, and for him, a slow game might actually be his changeup. But yeah, also very accomplished player. Maybe slight Glico rating difference between these two. I think Rob's been the highest Glico rated player for quite some time. Nebula is slowly sneaking up on him, but Rob's still holding that advantage. And yeah, interesting record. Whereas OP beat the top two players in the division, and had losses against Sauerkraut and Pofke towards the end. So yeah, little maybe not quite as consistent as Rob. I think Rob is someone who even on a bad day is quite good, but you can pretty accurately guess what level he'll be at. Whereas OP has done very well in some games, and not quite as well in others.
Yeah, Opie's been a top player for a very long time. You can see, runner up in three Summer Cups, so that's like 4 or 5 years back at this point. And more recently, in the most recent Winter and Summer Cups, he had some earlier exits. So that might be where the Glicko rating isn't as high as some of the other players in the top two, Nebula and Rov. But he has made a bit of a comeback in this tournament. Um, you know, Definitely upsets against Nebula and Rov, and it's not surprising to see him here in the least.
All right. And let's see here. Most liked venue, yeah, ballrooms. I think we all would have expected that one. Modern, pretty well liked venue at the high levels. Not too surprised to see that. Pub stands out to me a little bit. Honestly, I don't see too many players who are fans of pub, but definitely a lot of interesting strategies to employ there. And yeah, as expected, disliked aquarium. Not surprised to see terrace there. And yeah, courtyard maybe stands out quite a little bit, but yeah. So I think yeah, pretty not too many surprises here.
Yeah, I think OpiWrites likes this pub setup, the Snipe Arcade setup, which is 3 of 7, 245 on the clock. OpiWrites has one of the best green test rates in SpyParty, and he likes to, there's a lot of rushing opportunities here, and hitting those two flirts are critical, especially on a setup like this. I think that's why he likes this venue a lot.
Yep. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the draft. All right, so let's see here. So yeah, first ban from Opie was Aquarium, so that is to be expected. And Rob also banning Balcony, no surprise there. Yeah, so the Veranda restrict, I can see that being a good strategical play. Like I think maybe OP does expect Veranda might make it into the mix, but he does not want to see it as the double. Um, yeah, so double for okay, ballroom double for OP. That is well within OP's usual range. Double tan though, that one stands out a little bit to me. I'm not quite sure if I've seen that pick from Rob before. Maybe maybe some strategy playing in here.
Yeah, I think they played this venue in SMC last year, and I think Rov did pretty well against OP. I think he's pretty confident on most venues that aren't balcony, as you can see by the fact that he declined to restrict anything.
Yeah, and the singles are kind of interesting as well. Modern and gallery pretty typical at these levels. High rise pub veranda, I think those stand out a little bit, but I guess with this many venues in play, I guess it's expected to see maybe some slightly out of yeah, some slightly non-standard venues that would play into these players' preferences. And yeah, I think with that, I think we're ready to get into the first game. So it looks like for the first game, it looks like Opie will be kicking things off on the spy side, and we will be on ballroom and spying as Smallman right off the bat. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Yeah, so breaking out the emergency Smallman right away, and we are offered right away. This does look like an opportunity that Opie might be willing to take, but no. Instead, we just take the innocent drink.
Yeah, maybe trying to throw off a little behavioral stuff because OP Writes doesn't like to waste time on spy very much at all. So innocent drink to start off, very slow start. He does do this sometimes because he does have a reputation for playing fast, and he's going to add some time. So we're committing to the slow play for now.
Yeah, interesting decision. I think generally, with a time ad, you're kind of hoping maybe another guest or two will be at the windows, or at least something's going on. This worries me a little bit because there really wasn't too much party activity for Rob to be looking at. So I think if this time ad gets noticed, it could be traced back to us. Looks like Sorry is getting a highlight for center inspect, so that could be a potential frame target, or at least we'll want to. Oh, and going straight for a fingerprint right next to the ambassador. Strangely enough, I assume she started that path before he arrived there.
Yeah, we haven't even started our flirt yet, which is partially because our ST is out. But we do a green purloin, and we're walking away now. And now we start flirt. See how on
Yeah,
top of this Rav is, as the ambassador will take the list now.
yeah, definitely kind of a high risk, high reward play. I think maybe we were just hoping that just Rav just didn't see us being offered at that moment. And there's really no reaction just yet. So, okay, clearly we see the list is gone. We know the ambassador was the last taker, and I don't recall, was there actually a chain before we did the request?
I'm actually not sure either, but the lack of reaction from Rav so far, probably a good thing unless he's so on top of it that he doesn't need to.
Yeah, I think the lack of reaction does indicate that we are in good shape. This may be just one of those cases where we really have no idea, because I don't even really see many lowlights being taken off here. So I think this is one of those cases where like oh no, we just missed that purloin and just playing a little bit of 3 of 7 now. Yeah, Duke gets a highlight. Yeah, still not too much additional activity from the party. I think we probably do want to get Sorry in for the contact. Unfortunately, we have no way of knowing that we're in with the SDA right now.
Yeah, we did see a couple of lowlights come off, but nothing too incriminating against us. As the timer is starting to come down, I'm gonna have to think about how we are going to finish if we are committing to finishing missions here.
Yeah, we're playing quite respectfully of the sniper, I have to say, considering that we had a time ad and we got away with a purloin. That's really the only progress we have aside from half of a flirt. I think probably what Opie is thinking is that he's a much bigger target than he really is. And the thing is,
Yeah,
Rav doesn't really let off a whole lot of information. Yeah, and I think maybe that mispad might have been enough, or in combination with the time ad.
yeah. OpiWrites trying to sneak a little time ad, hoping that Rav was distracted by the ambassador by the bookshelf, but Rav does see the small man wandering over there and quickly going back into convo, and that's enough for the shot.
Yeah, maybe not too bad of a strategy from Opie, starting things off with kind of a slower game, just giving Rav a lot of extra time to kind of just mentally wear himself down a little bit. But yeah, unfortunately, just didn't quite work out with that time ad. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the next round. Looks like Rav will be spying as Duke. Let's kick things off in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Rav's favorite spy character, Duke,
Yeah,
and he
straight to the
rips out.
bookcase. Yeah, it looked like it was a very intentional path to the bookcase, and yeah, immediately pulling out. So yeah, this is one of those situations where like if you're Opie, I'm sure you didn't see where the book came from, but just seeing a guest, with a book that, this early, that you didn't see come out, that's got to maybe raise some alarm bells.
Yeah, one of the fun things about Duke is that he holds the book behind his back in his idle. So unless Opie saw it already, he might not even still know that Duke has a book in his hand.
Yeah, that is honestly something I've never noticed, and knowing Rob, that was probably very intentional. Book was slightly visible during his path from one conversation to another, but I don't think Opie had any reason to really be paying attention to that. Um, but yeah, I think maybe enough time has passed that I think Opie might just be comfortable with the idea that we have this book and not maybe be aware that he doesn't know where it came from, but maybe no worries that it was cheesed like it was.
It'll be interesting to see how long we hold this book for. It does limit our other options. Basically, we have bug or fingerprint. If we want to just hold this as long as we can and hope that Opie, even if he did see it, he won't remember that we have it.
Yeah, not too surprising to see both players are actually kind of being respectful of the other sniper. Um, but yeah, we are kind of getting to that moment where we really have no choice but to direct transfer. I mean, surely that was always the plan, but I mean, after we complete that, we still have 3 more missions to do in less than 2 minutes. So probably sooner rather than later, we'll need to get moving.
Yeah, and you can see him like doing these little quick talk, stop talks in convo because we just don't want to start talking because then we start swinging the book around and it draws more attention to it.
Yeah, so we are okay. So we're at the green bookshelf, and we don't. I think it's probably a good sign that we're not picking up a highlight. I think just looks like a typical innocent book return. And I think now we want to chase down our ST, but unfortunately our ST goes for the briefcase, so we get in with the double agent instead. Maybe not the worst time for a contact. It would eliminate 3 guests at this moment. Probably worth it. I think maybe we're waiting for ST to get in conversation first.
Yeah, we got a clean hardtail by, but now we have... Oh, the DA leaves! Oh, and it doesn't matter because the Civ gets shot.
Yeah, DA leaves. Apparently Irish did something that OP did not like. Let's see. Okay, OP, she's done center inspects. Let's see if she's done anything else.
Amba does walk by her. She could be potentially credited. I think Opie was watching, but if he wasn't rock solid on that, um, a real white BB could certainly be enough.
Yeah, it looks like probably center inspects, bug credit, and then yeah, unfortunately she had the double agent in that conversation. So yeah, kind of a little bit of a break for Rob on that one. But yeah, I mean, what looked like kind of a bad situation ended up being good because at least there were quite a lot of guests in for the contact when we took it. All right, and just like that, it looks like Rob is up 2-0 on Opie's double. So let's see if Opie can answer. It looks like we're going to be playing as, I believe that's Plane Twin in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Let's see if Opie goes for a fast game this time after that slow one in game one.
Yeah, so starting things off, pretty aggressive flirt. Not too surprised to see that route.
We're requesting a drink right away.
Okay, and yeah, this looks like the Opie that we all know, just going straight for the delegate into center statues. Already probably quite close to finishing. Let's see how on top of this Perlin Rob is.
Rav has very much shot for these kind of rushes before, and I think this one might be no exception.
Yeah, and here's kind of the moment of truth where we flirt paired with wheels, because that might be what gives us away in the end. So stopping to take an innocent drink. So I guess, yeah, maybe not rushing to flirt is just Opie knowing that he kind of could get spotted for this flirt if he's too aggressive with it. So go ahead and take it. Unfortunately, it is a white flirt, so we're not going to be finishing anytime soon. And I mean, this might be a good thing. I think contact probably would force Rob to make a decision. So maybe a little bit of extra time will maybe give some time for other guests to pick up some progress as well.
Yeah, I find it unlikely that OpiWrites survives the contact at this point. So he might have to think, either, well, I don't know, probably bug. And even then, I'm not sure we would survive because I think Rav has this pretty narrowed down.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we picked the highlight for that center statues, and it really seems like the rest of the cast is just avoiding those statues at the moment. Yeah, okay, Smallman finally gives us a break and goes center statues as well. Hopefully we can get him in for this final contact. All right, so we finally get the last bit of seduce, and we're really just waiting for the double agent to get into conversation. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably going to be the finish. Maybe just get a contact and hope as many guests are in as possible. Hope the SDA is in, and just hope that Rob has to at least decide between a few guests. But it's possible that another opportunity will present itself. Let's see where the ambassador settles. Yeah, quite full conversations. Just DA just not really playing nice. Honestly, SDA isn't playing nice either.
Yeah, Wheels does go to center statues and he's already a highlight, but unless Rav thinks that Wheels has a fourth mission, I don't see him getting shot here. And the DEA is still not cooperating, still reading at the bookshelf, so we might not even get a chance to finish on a contact here.
Yeah, and a game that looked like it was going to finish in the first minute and a half is now okay. We were in a position where it looked like we might not finish at all, but honestly, pretty nice combo entry bug. But yeah, Rob is just a little, I think, just a little too good, and he shoots for those.
Yeah, I think the fact that, we were seen at center statues right after that purloin came off, we were probably the top suspect. And the longer we went not doing anything, it was probably helping our chances in terms of other suspects getting in. But that last bug, if not seen, was at least behaviorally enough for Roth to take that shot there.
Yeah, I do wish we could have seen what would have happened if the DA had ever decided to get in a conversation, but yeah, just I guess was not meant to be this round. And yeah, with that, pretty nice 3-0 start for Rav going into the next round. Looks like Rav will be spying as Red Dress in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Spawning right by the ambassador, but not quite able to take advantage. Huge crowd of people get right next to the ambassador. We could probably get away with just about anything right now. Opt to go ahead and go for the flirt. It is a green for 51%. And ooh, even though Wheels is between us and the ambassador, I think we might almost be in bug range here.
Not quite, I think. A little too far.
Okay, just slightly outside of it, it looks like. Yeah, and didn't really want to take the reverse try-by because I think that would be quite visible from the angle that OP had.
Yeah, this place we're in now is a little better because we have that pillar for cover. But I'm sure Opie is well aware of that possibility, so it will be guarded.
Yeah, so kind of an interesting party right now. Like conversations are really full and guests aren't doing too much. Um, kind of one of those moments where you'd love to take a contact, but yeah, not gonna.
Oh,
Oh wow, we go for a very interesting or very creative bug behind the back, but looks like I think were we out of range or was it just that the ambassador moved? I'm not quite sure, but it did not take.
it might have been a little bit of both. We were trying to go for the back-to-back bug. Unfortunately, doesn't take, and now we're left looking for other options. Looks like we're gonna
Yeah,
finish flirt.
yeah, I really liked the attempt because like the angle that it makes with the sniper makes it almost invisible. And really it's just one of those positions where most snipers really don't have bug on their radar. So it was a nice try, and yeah, kind of sad that it didn't pay off in the end.
Pretty nice fake PB there. I think only one person was out, and a few reels. And OpiWrites is taking highlights for reels, so that is very good.
Yeah, it looks like we're going the fingerprint route, which is probably a good idea considering just the way this party's shaping out. Like most of the party really hasn't done a whole lot, but Ambassador has been nice and left a few prints around the venue. So it looks like, yeah, we're getting him with the real, probably going to go ahead and take the real contact. So one thing that might be a little unfortunate here is if OP is paying attention to who had real before, or I'm sorry, who will have real this time who didn't have it before. Could allow him to narrow things down quite a bit. Oh, we take a BB split and a wrong arm bug on the way out. Oh, and OP is on top of it. Yeah, so pretty nice. Honestly, it was actually a very nice spy game from Rav. I think maybe just kind of the lack of suspects or maybe just the narrowing down of that second contact that maybe made OP a little bit more aware of that split and the bug. Because honestly, that kind of looks like the kind of play that OP would make. So maybe that made it a little bit easier for him to spot. And with that, it looks like OP is on the scoreboard, finishing as double 1-3.
Yeah, very good start for Rov. Normally you want to at least split your double, if not win it, but this time Rov does take OP's double, and now he's going to his own double, where he will look to extend his lead.
Yep, and looks like we're going into Tan. Looks like OP will be spying as Red Dress in 3, 2, 1, playing it. And yeah, I mean, Taeyen, I think this is maybe a venue that could play into OP's strengths. So like even though we are down a little bit, maybe not the worst scenario because Ballroom it really is a venue that both of these players are quite good at. So yeah, I think maybe OP will have the opportunity to make up a little ground here, even though this is actually Rob's double.
Yeah, I think one of the ways OP loses sniper games is civilians finishing missions, and on this venue it can be very hard to track who doesn't have bug, because the ambassador walks in so many places where it's hard to keep track of who could be bugging him at any moment.
All right, so we take a, fingerprintable drink. So pretty decent start. Yeah, I think there's also a print available on blue books. Probably not going to be too obvious with the prints. I think maybe just yeah, with the early print, probably just going to maybe just take a slow, steady soft tail game here. Let's
Yeah, this
see.
is
It
one of
looks
those venues. Sorry. This is one of those venues where you can play it quite slow and still have plenty of opportunities to finish because mission density is so high.
yeah, and I think Rav right now is kind of paying more attention to the more active guests. Looks like Pearls I think has picked up at least one print, gone to statues, and is back in conversation. Um, I think yeah, it looks like Boots in general also getting statue highlights. So probably I think right now we're really not a big target if at all. I'm sure Rav probably does have us for the one print since it was an easy print. But if we can pick up another one like late enough in the game, then I think it could fly under the radar. Oh, we go for a green time ad. A little surprised. I mean, I guess our pacing has been a little bit slow, so probably worthwhile. But yeah, I don't know. I think with the print, we did at least have some options to go for a finish within the time. But Opie
Yeah,
opting to play it slow here.
yeah, we don't take a purloin there or anything. Ambassador is leaving a print. We're in a pretty good position for a bug. We have Disney is providing us great cover if we do go for a wrong arm here.
Yeah, looks
Or
like
sorry, a reverse drive-by.
Boots has gone back to statues for the second time. Although I think it was the same statue stat that she was at previously. Going to blue books as well. I don't think that book is fingerprintable anymore. So yeah, and she's gonna be out for the contact anyways. Interesting. Yeah, so we take a fake, probably I think a decent fake just based off of the amount of guests that are in our conversation versus the other one.
Yeah, I'm
And
not sure if Smallman was in our conversation. Oh, and we're just shot for bug.
okay, so it looks like the first one, yeah, just a typical fake, and maybe the second one was to distract for the bug. And I think I'm actually a little surprised that didn't work because we actually had some. I'm not sure if it was anticipated, but we had some extra cover from general. But I think Rob just maybe just trained to look for those hard tells, during the contact.
Yeah, so I think the first BB was supposed to be real, but Smallman left right after his sip. So unfortunately, even though it was green, it didn't take. And then we decided to take a known one, partially to cover for the bug. And with General walking past, it wasn't a bad idea, but Rov was staring it down pretty heavily, and he does spot it and take the shot.
Yeah, it looks like that animation just started a little bit before general got there. It was a nice try. Yeah, I think just a little unfortunate that a little bit with the timing and just a little bit that we're in the front conversation. You can get away with quite a lot more in the back combo. All right, and with that, let's go ahead and get into this next round. Looks like Rob will be spying as Plane Twin in 3, 2, 1, playing it. So yeah, second appearance of Plane Twin this set. Yeah, kind of interesting. Like I know the maybe the twins aren't quite as good for bug opportunities, but guess maybe they have some other strengths that kind of make up for it.
Yeah, I mean the greatest strength is that there's another character that looks just like you.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's one of those things where like sometimes it can be a good thing where some of your suspicion might end up on them, but then the other time like they might do something suspicious that you might end up getting framed for. So it can kind of work both ways. But I think probably more often than not it'll work out in your favor.
Yeah, I mean, some snipers like to do the so-called twin highlights, where they just highlight one of them so they can tell them apart, and you might just get highlighted for doing practically nothing.
Yeah, definitely maybe a little bit of a gamble, but yeah, it's kind of an interesting strategy making its second appearance and not too many games so far. And yeah, Rav once again kind of just going the slow route, just finishing up flirt. I think we're in a pretty good contact situation. I mean, the SDA is out, but okay, now it looks like we're in a really good position to contact. Only two guests out, and the SDA is in the convo.
Yeah, it's a little surprising that we haven't heard it yet, but there it is.
Yeah, just I guess Rob just being a little patient, but yeah, it takes a very strong BB, and I think actually in this case only one guest was out, and that happened to be the other twin. So yeah, two missions down right off the bat. Just yeah, curious to see what the finish will be. I mean, this really is the question, right? Like what are the last two missions? I assume we'll try to sneak a bug in, but what wonder what else the last mission's going to be.
Yeah, there is a printable statue, a printable center statue even, but it could be very suspicious. Opioids probably remembers that. There is also another print being left on the blue bookcase here.
Yeah, definitely Prince, definitely an option.
Oh, another option is
Oh,
white purloin.
white purloin. Unfortunately, Rob forgot the golden rule of purloins, which is always green. And yeah, Opie is quite on top of that one. Yeah, kind of an interesting choice because like we're kind of just back facing the sniper. So even if we did green it, we're always going to be in that chain. But yeah, I think maybe just one of those cases where we just want to get in the chain and just kind of hope that one of the other civs ends up getting shot, and just kind of hoping that maybe you know I think maybe Rob saw the civ shot on ballroom and was thinking like he might be a little jumpy, and yeah, if we can get in that chain, then we're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm like totally speculating, but if he hits a green there and maybe he can like get a bug on the ambassador as he's coming out of the bookshelf and then, we get credited with bug, but Opie doesn't notice the purloin in time, so the two quick hardtail finishes into mission countdown. Maybe that's what he was hoping for, but if he hit the white, none of it worked.
Yep, so a little unfortunate for Rob, and yeah, with that, let's go ahead and get into the next round. Looks like Opie will be spying as pearls in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious if Opie's kind of following a pattern here where we'll kind of get one slow game followed by one fast-paced game. But yeah, so as usual, 51% on the flirt. Pretty pretty typical OP green test. Not gonna take that offer. Probably a good decision as we're very clearly seeing being offered to. Really no guess there to obscure the vision.
Oh, bit of a no talk. Will Roth see this? I don't think it was noticed.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting case because we're kind of front and center, but party was quite active with lots of book visitors, lots of statue visitors. So Rav probably taken that opportunity to maybe just kind of download some data on the party, like kind of get some flirt pairs. Not really looking for any kind of etiquette breaks at that moment in the game.
Some interesting lowlights coming off though. Already three suspects have been lowlit now.
Yeah, this is why I'm glad you're here, so I don't have to speculate on anything etiquette related. I assume these are maybe for the combo entries because these do seem to be guests that have recently entered the conversation. And maybe this is one of the reasons why Rob picked this map is just he maybe feels good about some of the pathing mechanics on it.
Yeah, could be behavioral even. Because opioids does have a lot of tendencies, and sometimes he tries to, you know, break those tendencies because it's known that he has them. I have to look at the lowlights to be sure, though.
Yeah, quite a long offer to a Kane. Looked like it was almost the max amount of time that it could be for a guest, but don't think Rob is too concerned about that. So it looks like we're going to side statues, which, speaking of OP tendencies, he really does not like to go side statues, and here we are going for a green swap on top of it. Um, yeah, this is one of those things where we kind of we don't want to wait too long for this to get noticed. I think we want to try to get to mission one countdown, and oh wow, we get shot before the swap even goes off. So what did Rav see here?
Not sure. Unless he was confident that that Seek was being summoned to a swap. The
Yeah,
timing doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I mean, we didn't attempt any bugs. Like we really didn't do much of anything.
I mean, he
Um,
might have just been credited with a bug because he does get shot like around 9 seconds after he, kind of bumps into the ambassador there.
Yeah, a little unfortunate if that was the case. Yeah, that's interesting. Just shooting because of the call for Queen's swap. I don't understand why you wouldn't just wait a little bit longer just to confirm that the statue does swap. But I don't know. Maybe maybe at Grandmaster, just players are that good. Um, quite an impressive shot, and that's got to be a little bit demoralizing if you're OP because honestly, I really don't. It doesn't feel like he made any huge mistakes in that round. But yeah, with that, let's see how OP can answer on the sniper side. So it looks like we'll have Rav spying as Rocker in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Yes, I mean if you're Rav, you got to be feeling pretty good here. 5-2 already. I mean, I that to me that sniper shot was just incredible. That's kind of like a statement shot. And it might have been one of those things where really like you just have a lead, you have a really good feeling, and you just take it knowing that even if you're wrong, it's not that big of a deal. Um, yeah, I mean it's either that or I mean maybe Rob just really is feeling that confident. So let's see if we see some of that confidence on the spy side as well.
Yeah, let's see if we see a transfer microfilm animation back here. We do have a
Yeah.
shoji for cover, but we decide to take it. Oh, we don't like that their Amba came over.
Yeah, I think that was the plan, but you know, Amba is just gonna draw all the attention in the world towards you. So whatever your plan was, it's yeah now time to change that plan. Yeah, so just gonna come in get some additional flirt progress. And now I'm wondering. I mean, we have the book in hand. Do we? I mean, do we ever direct transfer it? I don't think, especially since OP saw us take the book out. I don't think that's something we could realistically get away with. I think we probably just do a correct return and look for mission progress elsewhere.
Yeah. Um, or we commit to the animation as we take the book to a corner again.
Yeah, maybe not a bad decision. No, still not feeling it, and I guess maybe because the ambassador is outside once again. Um, okay,
I'd have to start
now
thinking about a time at this point. Oh, but we do a
oh,
direct, and we're
this
taking another book out.
I
Okay.
I almost wonder if Rob is just like trying to flex on him at this point because unless that was an accident, I can't I don't know why you oh I think okay so he's taking the book.
Right, he wants Opie to think that he was never at green.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it took me a minute to realize that, but yeah, I think that was the whole strategy. I think Rob was just hoping that he's distracted enough in that moment that yeah he can get the book back out and it looks like we never transferred in the first place. Pretty creative strategy from Rob, but yeah, Opie was on top of it this time.
Yeah, I mean, at,
So
at the
yeah,
highest level of the game, sometimes, playing a great normal game is still going to lose you the game. So you have to do something crazy where, if it's spotted, you're going to die really badly. But a loss is still a loss. But if you get away with it, that can
yeah,
make the difference.
I love the attempt. It would have been definitely a highlight if it had worked out, but wasn't meant to be. And with that, let's move on to high rise. So it looks like this time Opie will be the one spying as Plane Twin in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
The twin meta is developing right before our eyes.
Absolutely. And yeah, and this venue was Opie's pick, so maybe he kind of feels a little more comfortable in these sniper arcade type venues where not quite as camp heavy, maybe just paying a little bit more attention to the behavior since AI is probably going to be well within the range of finishing at times.
Yep. It is the 3 mission variant, which means so either swap or transfer has to be on one hard tell.
Yeah, and very like one of the worst flirt numbers you can really see here is 48%. So I think for the first time in this entire set, OP is going to have to flee 3 flirt. Or no, I think this actually would be the second time, but
Ballroom. Yeah.
yeah, but little unfortunate, but it looks like we're not attempting to rush anyways, so not a huge deal. And actually, very active party. Not really. Yeah, I think probably going to be some much bigger suspects than us at the moment because we've really just been standing in this conversation the entire time. Yes, it got that 99% on the flirt. And yes, still kind of remains to be seen what the rest of the plan is going to be at this point. But one thing, I don't know. I think one thing is that I think we've at least attempted to finish in every round, and I think with that last round where we got shot, like when we had only done, we'd really only done what flirt, contact, and a pending swap, and got shot. Like I think Opie might be thinking like, hey, Rav is taking some pretty bold shots. Like maybe this will be a game where we just time out. And right when I say that, we have a green purloin.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up that OpiWrites notorious for having one of, if not the lowest timeout rate in competitive Spy Party. And when he does, he's usually out of window trying to time ad. And there's a
Yeah,
fake
it's
BP.
yeah, timing out is something that's really just not in our repertoire. And yeah, unfortunately, that purloin just did not chain far enough, and Rav has all the information he needs to take that shot.
Yeah, he BBs during the drink take, so even if Rob didn't see the fade, it could only be us.
Yeah, I think it was just one of those moments where maybe we're a little unhappy that it really only chained once, and I think just hoping maybe if we distract him from the fade, it'll help in some way. But yeah, it just wasn't quite meant to be. With that, let's go ahead and get into the next round. So it looks like Rav spying as Disney in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Yeah, Disney, not maybe not the most popular spy choice. Bug animation is quite noticeable, which leads me to believe that bug is not in our plans this time around. Instead, getting some very respectable cross combo flirt progress, 33%. And yeah, once again, just kind of taking it slow, just waiting a bit, letting just kind of letting things happen in the party. Yeah, so I mean, early green for 33%. So I mean, there's really no way that we're getting flirt paired unless OP's just remembering entire conversation circles. Um, really no way to attribute much progress. I think maybe we're getting an idea of where the fingerprints are. We just kind of swung over to look at the bookcase. So red dress took one of our prints, but I think there is another one on green if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and if there isn't, Amba is about to leave another one if he puts the book back. Looks like for now we're content with slow playing this, which is typical of Rav, but he will go and get some more progress on that flirt. The first one he was quite respectful because this is somewhat of a flirt pairing venue. It's a 3 of 6, and everyone has to do flirt. And we do hit another green to get ourselves to 81, so not quite from anywhere, but from pretty far we can finish with a test.
Yeah, so pretty decent strategy. If the main goal here is to not get flirt paired, I think we're doing okay in that regard. Double agent does join us, but kind of waiting. Okay, so 3 more guests do get into conversation. This is probably an okay time to take a contact. Yeah, so Rav agrees. So I think maybe about 2 or 3 low lights are lit off, which pretty ideal, especially considering the SDA was also in for that. Uh,
SDA was actually out. She just joined
oh,
after the BB,
oh,
so
I
only
see.
our conversation has real, which could hurt us if we try to finish and no one else in our conversation does anything.
Yeah, actually, that could end up being huge because yeah, that's at least 3 extra guests that are not having real credit, and I think at this point we've done really nothing to suggest that we are the spy. Finally, going for a fingerprintable briefcase, so it looks like that is the plan. And I mean, we've waited so long that Imba has left fingerprints all over the place. So it's actually, when we do finish fingerprints, that's going to be a very hard shot for OP to take. I think maybe what it's going to come down to, though, is are we the only one with real contact who's actually finishing? Interestingly enough, instead of going to the fingerprintable statue, we're going back in a conversation. I wonder what the idea is here. Oh, go for a reverse drive-by bug, immediately leave conversation. Did OP see this? I don't see any reaction this far. No, just picking up a highlight. Yeah, and Rob takes the win. So let's take a look at that bug from the sniper side. Yeah, that was quite nice. The hand was only very, very slightly visible on the walkaway, but everything before that, I think looked like it was completely blocked by Taft's body.
Yeah, I think, the fact that we really weren't doing anything that game did help us there because, we were on screen, but clearly we weren't being scrutinized. I think Opie might have been looking a little more at the list because the hand is a little visible as it's coming out.
Yeah, it's one of those things like when you know to look for it, it's quite obvious. But yeah, I think he must have been distracted. Um, and it's just kind of funny because it's one of those guests where like probably the most visible bug animation with those big hands. But yeah, I think maybe just wasn't quite expecting it with the walkaway. Because I guess generally when you are bugging, you kind of don't want to walk away mid animation because it might not take. So yeah, I mean just wasn't really on OP's radar. Yeah, well played from Rob. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the next round. Looks like we're moving on to Veranda. And looks like Opie will be spying as Alice in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Yeah, that was kind of an interesting finish that last round because it looked like we were doing fingerprints and it seemed like we very intentionally got into that conversation spot. So I don't know if we were just hoping that the ambassador was going to come by just like he did, but really just kind of worked out. And yeah, immediately going for the statues, which yeah, behaviorally, oh wow, in a white swap, that is highly unfortunate.
Yeah, I was gonna say when Opie's picking a fast character on a big venue, that probably means he's gonna be playing fast, and we've already seen one flirt, two inspects, and a swap. We're just highlight for the visit for now. Um, see when Rov notices this, if he does.
Yeah, so here's the slight glimmer of hope is that some of these really high skilled players aren't going to memorize statues right away just because it's such
There's
an
a
uncommon
bug.
play, especially at the front facing statues to go for a swap that early. I think like maybe Rav just wasn't looking for it, but
Yeah, there it is.
well, okay, so either either he has noticed or he just caught that bug. And I do think that conversation positioning that we ended up in is a little unfortunate. Like maybe early in the game you can end up there, but later in the game that's got to be a huge red flag, especially with the ambassador in range.
Yeah, he might have seen the bug and then checked the statue after, or he was just waiting for the spy to do something after noticing the swap. But either way, one of those missions was caught, and Rov takes another win, 8-3, 2 wins away from taking the series.
Yeah, pretty nice start for Rav. One more round really to guarantee overtime, and yeah, two more to guarantee the set. So let's see what he can do on the spy side as Teal in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Oh, we're going for a quick cheese purloin here.
Yeah, that was quite interesting as we didn't even wait to get into the conversation circle to go ahead and take it. So definitely really wanting to just go for the rush on that. And yeah, Veranda, I think it's one of those venues where you absolutely have to take risks. Like yeah, 5 venues and really everything is just kind of in the sight of the sniper, aside
Yeah,
from like a few small angles. So got to take risks like this. And so far, it looks like OP has not quite narrowed it down to us yet.
yeah, the list has gone, and highlights are coming out on sorry and yep, there it is. There's the low light. He's pretty sure that no one was being offered before because he highlight Toby after the reject. So I think this is likely going to be a win from Rov unless OP starts doubting himself. If sorry and Queen just do nothing for the rest of the game, that's the only saving grace that OP has, and he starts questioning his lowlights.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate. We have Lilith the spy. I have seen a few cases where lowlights do get brought back up because I mean I think it really just comes down to how confident are you in these lowlights. I think it may just be one of those cases where we're just, yeah, we're really just hoping that it is one of these two because we're in pretty rough shape if not. But even still, I mean, Rob still has quite a bit of progress to do. But I mean, yeah, two inspects, 50% flirt, and purloin in hand. Pretty much on pace to finish. So yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
think we really could potentially finish here having to do without having to call too much more attention to ourselves.
yeah. I don't necessarily think Rov is the type of person to assume that he's low lit. He's probably going to play a relatively normal game, thinking that OP might have caught that reject, or at least not low lit us, right?
Yeah, so yeah, so we got the flirt finished up. We're kind of in a somewhat buggable position. Well, not quite. Yeah, Ambassador's not quite pathing close enough. Um, yeah, I think maybe just kind of taking our time. I mean, we're really in no rush. We have 2 whole minutes to do what's essentially going to be, yeah, I mean, really just one more mission after inspects, excluding contact. So
Yeah, I think he can just go for like a soft tail game from here, just inspects and prints.
yeah, and I think
Uh,
that's probably what he's going to go for. Like maybe a bug if it presents itself, but not going to try to force it.
yeah, but it's conveniently leaving a print on a statue there, so we could just go from this bookshelf to that statue and then finish with contact, and I don't think we get shot for that.
Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a pretty clean game from Rav. Yeah, it looks like the finish is pretty much just out there, just waiting to happen, and it's just a matter of like when Rob decides to go for it. Yeah, so I think we're just gonna go ahead and chase down the double agent, get this contact out of the way. Yeah, I mean, decent amount of guessing conversation. So
But both of the takers are out right now, so if he does it now, OP knows he's wrong about these.
yeah, this could make things a little more interesting.
Banana bread.
Oh, and yeah, with that we do. Oh yeah, and you see immediate laser shake from Opie. So
It's
he,
like, uh-oh, everyone's low lit. What now, OP?
yeah, so now he's bringing up a lot more highlights. Let's see if he can find the right one.
Well, stepping into the final mission site, the printable statue. Can he shoot for this?
Yeah, I wonder if maybe the alarm bells will go off. Like, I mean, I doubt we're tracking a lowlight's progress, but it's like, hey, we're at a fingerprintable statue. This could be a finish. We're in the last 30 seconds. Who could be finishing right now? I mean, we're one of the few. But yeah, just no reaction. Yeah, so nice game from Rav. That decision to go for the immediate cheese purloin paid off very well. Um, yeah, Opie had kind of a slight chance to bail out, but it's just too little, too late at that point.
Yeah, it's one of those all or nothing plays where if you see it, if you catch it as the sniper, that's a win. But if you miss that, if you're not rock solid on whether Toby offered someone during chaos time, then it can just cost you the game.
Yeah, now so we're in a position that I think nobody would ever want to be in, where you have to win at least 6 in a row against Rob to bring things into overtime. Um, yeah, best of luck. But on the bright side, we are moving on to pub. Pub is a venue where interesting things can happen. Spy wins can happen. Uh, and so yeah, let's see if OP can do that. Looks like we're gonna see the 4th appearance of Plane Twin. And yeah, let's kick things off in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, this is certainly a venue where you can get spy wins past some really good snipers, and OP has had some big comebacks before. Winter Cup 2021 championship, I think he was down 10-3 or so and ended up winning the set. See if he can make a similar comeback here.
Yeah, so OP seems to be very carefully studying the party, so I think we're trying to keep frame targets in mind. So with Lex, we have Kane in general with inspects right off the bat. Got rocker and boots, potential purloins. Um, but yeah, the unfortunate thing is we don't have progress. I think at the very least we want the option to finish. So yeah,
Yeah,
maybe just hope.
one of our
Maybe
biggest
hope.
strengths on this venue is that we can hit those two flirts, but we don't even have the opportunity to flirt yet because General's going from statue to window.
Yeah, I think just really just hoping that general settles somewhere. And okay, we get a little bit of a gift as he does settle close to us, but it's not quite in that 2 flirt range. So it looks like our other twin will be headed to statues as well. So at least 3 guests with inspect credit already. So that is fortunate at least. Hopefully we can get quite a few in and the SDA for the real contact. Unfortunately, the DA is all the way at the opposite side of the venue at the moment.
We
Oh
do a
wow,
standard bug.
that bug must have just been barely in range because honestly, I did not think we were in range. I guess that was the golden range, as they say. And because Sari was acting as a barrier between us, gave us a little bit of extra cover. So might have actually, Rob has been really on top of bugs throughout this entire set, but we might have gotten away with one there.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to finish here, though. The double agent is in the other conversation. We technically have time to timer flirt this out, but it's going to be difficult to
Yeah, I
get a
think
double
it's
agent. Sorry,
okay.
go ahead.
So it looks like we take a briefcase. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, contact is one finish, but we can always inspect, and I think we do have time to inspect. Silent game is gonna be even harder to shoot for as well. And here's the thing that I'm afraid of is even though Rob probably didn't see the bug by this point, we very could easily be credited, especially since the ambassador has joined us a second time. Okay, and we are opting to go for the contact, so let's see how this works out.
Banana bread.
It'll be a little bit
No
of
reaction.
OT.
No reaction so far, and I think this is good because behaviorally I was a little worried that joining and immediately contacting might have been suspicious, and yeah, it looks like we do get away with it. So very, very much needed win from OP on the spy side.
Yeah,
Yeah, and just
he does barely get that, timer flirt and the contact off, and I think he finished at 8.5, so technically there was no overtime. Arav did not hear those beeps because there's a 1.5-second delay between what the sniper sees and what the spy sees.
yeah, so just a nice case of OP just being
Banana
opportunistic.
bread.
It looks like that bug was actually visible, but I think maybe just wasn't something that Rob was afraid of at the moment, or maybe he was a little more focused on sorry because yeah, I mean, it might have just looked like we were a little bit out of range, so no reason to really be suspecting us of the bug. But yeah, and again, yeah, much needed win from OP. So let's get into the next round and let's see if he can keep it going.
Yeah, sometimes the best cover for a bug is other people who could also be bugging.
And with that, looks like we have our, I believe, what is our first Kane appearance. So Rob spying as Kane in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, Rav definitely going for the win here, pulling out the cane as it goes for a quick time ad. It's white. Will OP see this?
Yeah, quick and a very cheesy time ad, but if there's ever a time you could do that, it's probably within the first couple seconds. Yeah, no reaction so far. And straight to bar, which is an interesting choice. I wonder. Oh wow, we do get a highlight. I wonder if this is just a bar highlight or if this is
These
for the time ad because yeah, Salmon picks up one as well.
and everyone else pretty much gets low lit, so I believe these are certainly for the time ad. I think pretty much everyone that could have been at window. I don't think he necessarily saw us, but we were inside. We could have done one at the window. So we're not high lit, but we are still in the pool of suspects.
Banana bread.
Yes, yeah. So this is a little unfortunate for Rob actually because for that 45 seconds we got half of the cast low lit, which is gonna make it I think nearly impossible to get a spy win here. Uh, Definitely gonna need some help.
Yeah, he did give real BB to a couple of those people who could have time added.
Yeah, and I don't know, like maybe Rob noticed the laser movement, just seeing him going from one guest to another. So I think maybe he has a good idea of what's going on, and is now just kind of hoping, like whatever the original plan I think is out the window, and we're just hoping to frame someone else. And it's kind of a tough position because I mean when you're playing, for the match, it's really hard to have to hold your shot.
Yeah, and OP is definitely under a lot of pressure here. It's match point, and Rav, he can chill a little bit. He's got a big buffer here to work with, so he can afford to play like this. He can dare OP to hold his shot on a venue With a time ad, you only need 3 to finish.
Like we are a little unfortunate pathing there, but I don't think that was noticed. I think we wanted to get a little bit of floor progress, but that option has left us, unfortunately. Just gonna chase down the ST. No, back to bar. Yeah, I think we. Yeah, I think we're just going back to the plan of just playing an AI. I thought Rob was gonna kind of put himself in a position where he could finish if he wanted to, but I think that ship has really sailed at this point. We could do a late rush, but I don't see that really happening.
You do have a delegate in pocket, though.
Yeah, I
Could use
mean
it to frame
delegate.
someone if we want.
Yeah, delegate could definitely play into the frame. So let's see here. Okay, so we delegate to the DA. That's an interesting decision. So I guess we're trying to frame queen, if anything. But yeah, queen is a low late, so not. I don't think that's ever gonna work out. So yeah, I think probably looking at a sniper win here for OP. Line does come off, but I don't see any panic here. Well, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, looks like Opie is going to hold this.
Yep, and it was the right decision. So yeah, just a little bit of momentum here from Opie. It was pub, so I'm sure Rav isn't too upset by it. But either way, 2 points on the board. OP still within reasonable striking distance. So yeah, and with that, it looks like we are moving on to gallery. So yeah, still another nice venue. It's a lot more camper friendly. So than pub. So we'll play into Rav's style, but even still kind of plays into OP style as well because lots of chaos, lots of chance for plays, and honestly, kind of a bit of a luck factor too with the movement of your DAs and STs. So let's see how that works out. And it looks like OP will be spying as teal in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Spawning in the very back next to Toby, but unfortunately we have a drink, so we can't go for any purloin cheese here like Rav did on Veranda.
Yeah, it seems like honestly these players have been spawning with a drink in hand quite a lot, and yeah, it does kind of take away some of the opportunity for early game plays.
Get low lit.
We get low lit, but I have to assume that was an accident, and he was trying to low light the DA.
Yeah, you're right. He thought he thought that yellow arrow was on instead of Kane. We'll see if Rav notices this and rectifies his error.
Yeah, and we actually under the cover of that low light, we get a microfilm, so a little bit of a break here for OP.
And we do get brought back up, fortunately for Rav.
Yeah, brought back up, but yeah, did at least get a little bit. Oh no, and it looks like
So
this is
white
gonna be a white
purloin.
purloin.
Is this
So
how the set is going to end?
yeah, looks like. And oh man, it was a very nice position for the purloin, like all the way in the back of the convo. Just yeah, just white purloin. Yeah, pretty decent set today, but yeah, just kind of not quite OP's day to day. And Rob just looked as solid as ever. So yeah, it looks like with that, Rob will move on to play Nebula in the Grandmaster finals, and what a match that is going to be between those two. Like I think both players have, just like after their one loss to OP, I think they just both been on an absolute tear since then and have looked really solid. So I think that promises to be a great set.
Yeah, I think Rav's sniper was very much on point today. And he also got a couple of spy wins past Opie, which is not easy to do. Opie did take the regular season match between these two, but Rav certainly stepped his game up today, only losing pub match or pub sniper game, and he will be facing another formidable opponent in Nebula.
Yep, and with that, I believe that concludes today's set. So remember to tune back in about 2 hours, and I believe that will be the Topaz Championship between Blood Red Yeti and One Hopping Bunny.